TGIF, everyone. Welcome back to Gen Zen here on Ottawa BuzzTV. Thank God it's Friday on a Labor Day long weekend. I know many people are running around, rushing home, getting ready for the long weekend, getting the kids ready for school, looking at the gardens and the lawns. But we're here today on Gen Zen talking to Diane Valiquette, the founder of the Separation and Divorce Center in Blackburn Hamlet, a wonderful resource in Ottawa. Diane has been well known in the last 20 years in helping people rebuild relationships, recover with mediation, empowerment, and focused intention on rebuilding relationships when they separate, divorce, or any other kind of relationship ending or beginning. Diane, welcome back.
Welcome back. Thank you,
Jen. Yes, welcome back.
Yeah.
20 years, girl.
I know. It's been a long time,
We've been down this road before.
Yeah,
so 20 years ago, you started your business at the McLaren Center.
Actually, exactly. I did my first class, I started at home, actually. I did my very first class at home in my living room. And then the kids were like, really, Mom, we can't shop every Wednesday, for 2 hours. So then we went to the McLaren Center and I did a class there, and I guess that's where we all met, right?
Yes, right. Now you have a beautiful, beautiful center out in Blackburn Hamlet. Tell us though, what is the Separation Divorce Center really all about? Because I think it's a fabulous resource here in Ottawa for people who are really needing coaching, support, mediation, counsel, advice, all the above.
Oh, how did it start? Well, it started actually with the rebuilding when your relationship ends. So basically really helping people coming out of separation and divorce, understanding, why they did the things they did and what happened in their relationship, right? Or the demise of the relationship. And then from there it grew because people were asking, can you mediate? We're obviously going through a divorce and we're not getting along, and we want to know custody and access of the kids and all that kind of stuff. So from there, I just opened a center that was based very, very much on, healing quickly, trying to pass people through and really validating their feelings and, coming out, let's say 3-4 months out of the gate of mediation and then going into the rebuilding, which is 12 weeks, to really have them have a grip on what happened and move forward.
Right. And again, moving forward, that's the sort of the theme of our workshop, Healing Through Grief, Transforming Tragedy into Triumph, on Saturday, September 16th. You are one of our event sponsors. Thank you so much for being there, because, 1 out of 2 marriages is in ending in divorce. People are, as a coach, I see them in transition. They're making decisions. They're leaving. They're staying. They're whiffling. They're waffling. They really do need some support. So tell us, what is unique about your center? Because I think it is. I think it has a holistic approach, but a very concrete approach as well. There's very solid foundational work that you do there. Plus, you're into the emotions. You're really into tapping people into, why they do what they do.
Okay, Jen, so it's threefold. So the first one is mediation. So most mediators are lawyers, right?
Right.
And not to knock them down, it's just that they don't have, I do it from very much the emotional part. And to me, if I can validate and get through some really heavy duty resentments, anger, emotion, then the rest is just paperwork. The rest is just, yes, we own this, we split it in 2 and on we go, right? And also really child-centered on, yes, this is happening, and yeah, you guys may not like each other, but these little kids, they didn't ask for this, right? And so be the best parents that you can be and be together. Be together, call that your business and be business partners, and hate everything else about each other, but let's not do it in front of the kids and all that kind of stuff. So that's very much my mediation approach, and I'm very big on settling things quickly. I don't elongate and have all these forms and big conversations about, the past or whatever. It's come on, let's get the finances on the board. Let's look at how we're going to do this. Boom, bang, we're done, right? And then really coming from one partner will continue seeing me to just process all their emotions, all the pain around it, and everything that comes up. So, and we have a child and youth worker who also works with the children. When we use her more, if they don't know if the kids would do a week on or 225, or Tara will meet with the children and say, okay, so what do you guys feel? Tell me everything you feel. Give me your pain. And so we're very much of a team, and then sometimes I'll send people to Catherine, who I use a lot for heavy grief or trauma in their lives that's coming up because of the divorce, right?
And that is what we're doing as well at Healing Through Grief on Saturday, September 16th, because when there's any kind of navigating a change, right? Any kind of change, unexpected, whether you saw it coming or didn't see it coming, where you were in denial or what, it still sucks. There's no easy way to let go of an asset or a family, or, you know, an address, or moving, you know, there's a cost emotionally, physically, spiritually, and all the above to any kind of relationship ending. Do you find that people benefit from your group? Tell us about your, is it a 12-week program, Rebuilding Relationships?
So the 12-week program, and I mean, I'm going to be biased, obviously, but you know what, it's not, I mean, I have tons of testimonials. I'm very, very grounded, and I'm very like, you know, you're here, you're in a relationship that you did, you know, I'm going to call it project, be a victim, a villain. And I take you from there to a place of wholeness and show you why you pick the people and why you're hurting, and, you know, clean up a lot of the blame game and really take accountability for, you know, how you got yourself here, how you managed to be here and through this turmoil. But you know what? Let me educate you, and let me help you stand in your own power.
Right.
And that's the theory behind the whole rebuilding group, right?
Yes. And it's a 12-week program based out of your location in Blackburn Hamlet, correct?
Yeah, and I do one in the West End as well. I have a center in the West End now on
nice.
in Canada. We opened that in January, and Tara Vargas. Yeah, it was good. It was a big opening, and Tara Vargas is the one that runs the West End.
Yes.
So yeah, exciting.
That's good, because again, you know, the city is really split, and so it's great to know that you have 2 locations. What is your hope for your participation in the event Healing Through Grief on Saturday, September 16th? I know you do your own events, you participate in others. You do it very consciously and intentionally. So we're very happy to have you on stage with us. What do you want to get out of it? What do you want to convey to people who are listening to you?
You know what? For me, it's a repeat, right? Is that your grief and where you're at is okay. It's normal. I have people who apologize, right? Oh my God, I've been separated for 6 months. I can't believe I'm crying. And I'm like, you know what? This is where you're at. Accept where you're at and understand. And I'm going to go into it a little bit more, but to get over a separation and divorce, especially when there's children, it takes 3 to 5 years, and people are like 3 to 5 years. Yeah, it does. Even if you're in another relationship, even if, you know, a part of you is happy, you still have a big process to go through, right? And I think my biggest message is to really tell people it's okay to still be in grief a year later. It's okay that you're still crying, and that there are times that you're crippled. It's okay.
And
I want to explain on the processes of grief, right?
Right. And sorry, we're cutting out a bit here, but is there any rules, like rules of engagement, that you suggest people follow, or is it just tailored to every couple's unique situation?
What do you mean by rules, Jill? What do you mean, Jen?
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm like, do you have, you shouldn't date until a certain month, or do you have any suggestions on how to navigate?
Yeah, I have those rules. I have those rules because I don't think a lot of people understand that so first marriages, I think the stats are very much like 4.2 on 10 that are going to go through divorce. Second marriages are almost like 8 on 10. Second marriages fail a lot bigger. Then for what happens, you're not understanding the partner, you're not understanding yourself, and then you just go repeat the pattern, right? And people don't listen to me. I say, do not date for a year. Listen to me. They just like, no, I have to start dating. Everybody's telling me to date. And 3 years later, they're in my office going, yep, that didn't work.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of my big rules.
Yeah, as a transformational coach who has, the intuitive side, that's actually what they're told. Like if you believe in the psychic, intuitive, angelic stuff, they're actually told you got to go on a man or woman diet or whatever your flavor is for a while to really figure out yourself. And people always want to get under the next one. It's like they always want me to tell them. I'm like, well, you're not even out of the first one. Like, how can you drive another car when the engine's still driving the one you've got in the garage? Yeah, and I'm glad you say that because I think people think I'm crazy too when I tell them that.
And we're not.
Yeah, they have to take a break. And what is the biggest? Is there an extrapolated emotion? that you see in your groups? Is there a common theme that you see for people? Do they feel embarrassed? Do they feel alone? Do they feel, I don't know, confused? Failure. Okay.
Failure. Over and over, guilt and failure. Right? So the guilt of, if I would have done this, if I could have done that, and the failure of, they're both the same, guilt and failure. They're coming from, had I known, I could have fixed it, or I could have done. And, and that's really that's the hardest piece, is like, no, you couldn't have, because you didn't know what you didn't know.
Right. Yeah, and that's true. I mean, even if you have hindsight, I can, I do a lot of the same kind of coaching in a different realm. And even if you can prepare, it's two free will dance partners, right? You have to have a fluid environmental factors. Finances have to gel, work situations, family. It's hard when, this, you've been down that ringer, people who are married, people who are in relationships a long time, people's, get diseases, people have deaths, people have, internal depression and work stress, and all these things factor in a relationship. So there's so many moving parts to having a successful relationship, and the only one you can control, would you agree, is yourself, right? The one with yourself, right?
Absolutely. And you know what, Jen, do you not find that when you're saying that, like, the only person you can control is yourself, and the only person that you're really accountable to is you, and they're like, what? Our time understanding that.
Yeah. I mean, I because, as you know, I'm on the same path you have been as well the last 20 years. I understand why people are lonely. I understand why they want that warm body, that companion. But if you're not that person for yourself, how are you going to be that person for someone else? Yeah, like, if you know your stuff isn't, if you're a hot mess and you know it, why would you deliver that to someone else? I mean, that's just my thinking. My own personal thinking is, until I know I have a product or something, like, I can stand up, I can, my life is in order, it's balanced on my own, I don't see how someone else adding to the mix will help, if you get what I'm saying. I don't know how and I think people, that's what your concern is at times, as sort of, you call yourself a coach, therapist, what is it? What's the term for you? Mediator?
I usually use mediator and then facilitator, right?
Right.
So, because that's what I do the most of. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of coaching. I'll do, the 12-week, I do a lot of mediation, and then Catherine or Megan will do core beliefs, or, counseling, because from that place, once they do the group, they really kind of understand all of this.
Right.
To work out specific issues. I'm not the greatest at that.
Right.
I can find the issue, then somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, but you're the head chef, man. You're the head chef. Yeah. And yeah, I get it. And so September 16th is coming up fast. Tickets are on sale now. What kind of people would benefit from listening to you speak, your specific segment in the whole healing through grief component?
You know what, Jen, I think it's everybody and anyone, right? We've all been through a pain of relationship. We've all been picked, partners are not the greatest for us. And even if you're in a good relationship, to really kind of understand that it doesn't have to be grief, like, from a relationship, you're grieving, somebody's passed away, or you're grieving a loss of a job, or whatever that may be. But you need to understand yourself in that grief, so that you can be so that you kind of be able to tell people how to treat you while you're in this grief.
Right.
That's
Yeah. The way I see you, and I mean, again, we walked down the similar road for many years together at different times. I see you as coaching people or mentoring people on personal responsibility.
Yes.
Okay, this happened. Now what?
Right?
Not like, well, he said, she said,
No, I don't do that.
Yeah, it's all about the now, and it's all about, we're here, and what are we going to do about it? And for me, co-hosting this event with Pierre Raymond was really important, because I see on Facebook, social media, you see it in the States, you see it all over the world. There's transitions, there's challenges. People are being thrown loops and curveballs. And these are things you can't predict necessarily or plan for, but you have to respond to. And how do you respond is all about, what is your personal integrity, your own ability to navigate change. And I know that the people we have on stage, including yourself, are really going to help people through that day of transformation. So I encourage people to check out Diane Valiquette at the Separation and Divorce Center. Please come to the event and hear Diane live, as well as all our other event speakers and change agents. And if they want to find you, Diane, give a shout out to your website. What's the website?
So it's thesdrc.com. So thesdrc.com.
And you can just Google your name. You're everywhere. You've got tons of video.
Yeah, Google my name. I come up.
Google Diane. Wonderful. Well, I really appreciate your time
Valiquette
today on the long weekend, and I really am honored that you're on stage with us, and excited to share that. I do want to really emphasize too, it's for people who aren't married. Like, this is any relationship. This is not about a marriage contract. This is about any boyfriend, girlfriend situation that has come up for you. You and I know the city has a lot of broken hearts and a lot of confused people swiping left and right on Tinder and all these kind of interesting apps these days. But again, if you don't know who you are, you don't know what you're looking for. And so you always have to start, right? Start
and you'll
here.
repeat the patterns. Believe me, I have the medal. You'll repeat patterns over and over again. I badge of honor, have that.
And again, Diane's going to give you some straight talk and some wonderful wisdom on Saturday, September 16th at the Healing Through Grief event, Transforming Tragedy into Triumph. Diane Valiquette, thank you so much for your time. Big shout out to your daughter. Thanks to Rebecca Happy for lending her tech support here on Ottawa Buzz TV. Please check out Diane's work at the Separation Divorce Center here in Ottawa.
All right, thank you, Jen. Thank you. Thanks, Rebecca.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great long weekend. Talk to you soon. We'll be interviewing Ann Perot from Perot & Associates about financial freedom as our next guest on Gen Zen on Ottawa Buzz TV.